Alright, we are recording for Chapter 17 of Star Trek V Final Frontier. A few things happen in this chapter, and it's kind of funny, and it might be a little dangerous for me. Some of these chapters I am actually liking a little bit better. There are still issues. There's definitely one here where it's like, yeah, we really can't ignore this one. But I am kind of liking this stuff better. Some of these chapters better than a lot of the earlier ones. Like anything to do with backstory stuff was pretty bad. So yeah, hopefully I will remember that. That's probably the reason why I take notes. When I get to writing up the review. Because it's not going to be all that favorable, although I just remembered something I do need to look. Did I give Voyage Home? I gave Voyage Home a 1. Okay. I'll have to look through the notes to decide, and I know that there's still a little bit more to go. This is probably going to be either a -1, which is a failure to recommend, but flavored towards recommending against, or a -2, which is a weaker recommend against. The way I thought to describe those is a -2 is a, yeah, you probably shouldn't waste your time. -3 is a, yeah, I wish I hadn't wasted my time. -4 is a, the author in this case shouldn't have wasted their time. I came up with this system for video games originally, so my -4 would be the developers shouldn't have wasted their time. So it's it's probably gonna be either -1 or -2. I don't know though. I may have to look over notes, but anyway, let's actually get to chapter 17 here. So a good and evil Cybok are fighting each other, and it's not going well for the good one. Abruptly, the good Cybok pulled himself free because they're grappling each other, and tried to fasten his hands on his evil twin's temples. Share your pain. No. So we do in fact get the share your pain line in here. So, and it also does describe that this is a horrible experience for real Cybok. That the being starts like melting him and even engulfs him like an amoeba eating its prey. And Spock has to watch this. Because it is worth knowing that Spock does have a genuine love for Cybok, his older brother, even though they only knew each other for about a year. Still is that there's that affection there, and he has to watch it. And even Kirk is like, man, I mean, it really sucked when my brother Sam died, but I didn't have to watch that. He is. But Cybok is succeeding at least distracting the being, and is even causing it to go back down, that they're like whirling together and going back down the tunnel that had opened up for it to come out from kilometers below. Which is important because now, as they get a little bit further away, Kirk to Enterprise, Sulu here, and all that. So, good, he told Sulu. I want you to ready a photon torpedo. Prepare to fire on my command. A pause. Aye, sir, the helmsman replied finally. Kirk heard the faint doubt in his tone. Sulu surely understood what his captain intended, and he knew the torpedo would destroy any chance of Cybok escaping alive. And the crew decided their primary loyalty still lay with Cybok. ... Arming torpedo, Sulu said. His voice sounded almost normal, like that of a helmsman responding to a routine command from his captain. So there is, Kirk is uncertain if if he's actually going to be able to do this or not, but he's still got to give the orders. And need to correct a highlight here. But they are in fact responding to him, not to Cybok, so do fire the torpedo down there. And he eventually does go down a ways and actually like runs into them and explodes. And at this point now various things are happening, including that and we get a Dinkus here again because we're changing. So it's very inconsistent at this point. I don't remember if it was inconsistent before. Maybe it's just we're at a point now where the viewpoint is changing a lot. So I'm noticing it more, and that wasn't happening before. But yeah, this is annoying. Anyway. Muted with grief, Caitlin continued to stare at the main view screen. The planet that had once seemed so impossibly beautiful had dimmed. Its colors were muddied, lackluster. So there's kind of the suggestion that the being was making it look better than it was, but now that it is distracted and injured, it is no longer doing that. It is not keeping up the charade anymore. But anyway, it can't be, Talbot had paled. It can't be. None of it means anything, Caitlin whispered bitterly. None of it means anything at all. A great warm hand rested on her shoulder. She thought at first that it was Talbot's hand, but this was twice the size. Untrue, Cord said quietly in his bass voice. Cybok died well, as a warrior should. Looking death in the eyes, he saved us and the ship. I like that Cord is, because he's been largely silent throughout the book, and now he's getting a pretty decent line there, and a very appropriate line for him. And he actually becomes far more important moving on, because, well, yeah, in the movie we do know that Cord manages to get Claw to stand down to a degree. We find out more about how he actually does that in this. It's not just he talks to him, like, Spock gets him to talk, and next thing we know, everything's hunky-dory. There's also this, though, that is one of those... Yeah, I guess there's two critical technical issues here, where it's like, this is not how that should work. On the other side of the bridge, unnoticed and unmanned, the defense station still displayed the graphic of a bird of prey, and a message, estimated time of intercept, 4 minutes. So Sulu has the capacity to aim a photon torpedo, arm a photon torpedo, and fire a photon torpedo from his station. But it's only at the defense station over there that no one is at, even though Chekhov is trained for that station. No one's at that, and that's the only place that tells you, hey, there's an enemy ship nearby. In the previous chapter, because it was also mentioned there, I was kind of okay with the whole, they're all looking at the main view screen, and so it's not being shown them. But I did think, that's the kind of information that should be put up on the main view screen. But it's also being given a different image. It's being given the one that the being is showing them. So they're not just, like, looking down at the planet. They're getting a view of, like, cameras on the planet. It's like, that's not possible. That has to be provided by something, the being. So it's like, okay, however it's achieving that, that's disrupting their ability to see. I'm okay with that. Move on. Don't. It's only the one station. But at this point, Sulu is using weapons and apparently never gets told, hey, there's a target near, hey, there's an enemy ship nearby. Never gets told that. Chekhov has gone up and gone over to Spock's station and is using the little scanner thing, which even in the original series, there were times when Spock was doing that to look at those sensors and he would get the information as far as an enemy ship being nearby. This is just nonsense. It's absolutely just a thready kind of thing where it's like, well, I need them to not know the ship is there, but I also need a way to build the tension that the ship is nearby. So I'll just have it on the screen there, even though it makes no sense for it to be there and nowhere else. It's like, that's critical information. It needs to be in multiple locations. And then on the bird of prey, they're happy because, like, hey, they don't even have their shields up. Why they don't have their shields up makes no sense. Why did they take them down after cross? Well, okay, I guess they may have needed to take it down because they need the Copernicus shuttlecraft to go down there, I guess, maybe, but I would still keep them up because, like, it protected us from the radiation. Yeah, there isn't as much radiation here now, but it's still wild, that radiation. Let's put it up again, just to be on the safe side. Anyway, so I know I didn't highlight it, but is it? Yeah, okay. There is also here that the message changed that ship's cloaking, so attack is likely imminent. And we get a little bit there about how, yes, we'll destroy them. Them claw and all that. Anyway, so they're... Kirk, Spock, and McCoy are on the planet, running and all that. Oh, wait, no. They are in the shuttlecraft. But it can't take off because the being is doing stuff there. Jim pulled out his communicator. Kirk to Enterprise. Scott here, Captain. What? Why? Why is Scotty the one answering? I mean, he's the one that is most convenient to answer because they want to be beamed up. And he's the one who's working on the transporters and is in the transporter room. But it's like, Kirk to Enterprise. Sulu here. Perfect. I want a torpedo fired and you can do that. Kirk to Enterprise. He said, Scotty here. Perfect. I want the transporter. It's like, can we acknowledge that this is actually too convenient? Please? I mean, it actually should be going to Uhura. Then it's like, okay, Uhura here. Give me Sulu. I want to fire a torpedo. Or give me Scotty. I need the transporter. It's like, she's a lot more than this, but she is the switchboard operator. Why is he somehow direct dialing when all he says is Kirk to Enterprise? I got a problem with that. How is he direct dialing when he says the same thing? I mean, it's like, call sibling or something, and it's like, is it going to call my brother or my sister? Although now I am just thinking, it would be funny if you could do that and just imagine there's... Although somebody might actually do that. I could see there being an app for that. You can just, like, call woman. It's like, just dials a random woman. Or call man for dial woman. I could see somebody doing that as an app. Like a dating app kind of thing where you just say that. And it's like, you call random, just call stranger. Oh, man. Although, now I'm actually wondering, in theory, that app could also... Maybe this app already exists, I don't know. But in theory, the app could also, if it knows your location, could even prioritize, like, somebody near you. Or maybe you want to just be like a pen pal kind of thing. Where it's like, just call... I mean, so not quite a chat roulette kind of thing, because that includes video, but if it were just audio, and if you could secure it, you can do something to prevent issues. But I could also just see it being a, like, call random woman, and it just picks one of the ones that's within a mile or so from you, assuming that there is any. I could see somebody making that and it actually having some success. For not always good reasons is the main reason why I'm rubbing my head. Also that it's kind of a silly idea. Anyhow. So they get beamed up. The Klingons attack. So now the transporter's offline. The shield's offline as well. Spock gets to the bridge. Well, they all get to the bridge. They both... Yeah, no, all, because Scotty comes with them. Excuse me. Get to the bridge. Spock takes the center seat. And Claw wants to hail them to give his terms. And it's like, they converse, and it's very clear that Claw is quite disappointed that it's Spock, not Kirk, that is there. Because if it's Kirk, then it's like, cool, I'm going to kill you now. But it's Spock, so it's like, I'm here for Kirk. I want Kirk. And the whole Captain Kirk is not among us. You lie. I'm a Vulcan. I cannot lie. Spock replied, not quite the full truth, but it would serve for the moment. The Vulcan was reminded of a paradox he had once heard the less than scrupulous entrepreneur Harry Mudd employ. I always lie. In fact, I am lying to you now. I appreciate this I Mudd reference. It is fun. So it's like, he's on the planet below. Give me the coordinates and you will be spared. And even Spock's like, yeah, no, once you have him, you're just going to destroy us all anyway. So, yeah. But then it's like, I have a Klingon here. Mic off. Cord, come here. And Cord even says, you misunderstand. My assignment to Nimbus proves I am a disgrace. I am no more than a foolish old man. And it also reminds me earlier when Caitlin was feeling bad about, you know, it's like, all this is bad. It's like, what do we have left? Talbot actually does say, we have Paradise, which the name of the city that they were at, the on Nimbus 3. Which she initially was going to turn around ready to slap him, that he, as though he were mocking her because of how she was like, we can make something great of this. But turns and sees that no, he's being sincere, that they do still have that. Anyway, so yeah, Cord is like, I can't be helpful, that he's not going to listen to me. Cybok was my brother, Spock said, ignoring the shocked reactions on all those on the bridge. He sacrificed himself so that we might escape. Are you so willing to see his death become meaningless? Claw will not, Cord began. Spock had just seen his brother killed. He would not allow the same to happen to James Kirk. Damn you, sir, he said, his tone deliberate and even. You will try. So, I still don't like him swearing like that. I don't feel that's really appropriate for his character. And that is also in the movie. But at least, although I don't think Cybok was my brother is in the movie, but at least we do get the setup here that it is he is frustrated. He is angry that he is not free of emotion at the moment. He's not fully controlling his emotion. He is deeply affected by Cybok's death and the imminent danger to Kirk. So it's like, okay, I understand him doing this. I still don't like it, but I do understand it. So, all right. So Cord is like, all right, fine. Gets up, walks over to stand next to Spock, where he'll be in view when they turn the mic back on. And you know, the whole Claw. This is General Cord, and Claw does recognize him, but is carrying himself as though they are equal, even though Cord is very much his senior in age and experience, and also he's a general, not versus a captain. So Claw is being quite arrogant here. But anyway, next happens. Claw, the general, bellowed, switching from standard to Klingon. Joe E. Chu. All on the bridge stared in shocked disbelief as Cord's bulky form dissolved into the twinkling shimmer of a transporter beam and vanished. So they're actually thinking, did Cord just betray us? Did Cord just flee the Enterprise so that it can be destroyed and he will survive? Which is kind of fair because, you know, for them to have that concern, not just that somebody might do that, but also the fact that they are feeling the effects of Cybok's mind control wear off. So they're all in a state where they're regaining themselves, so they might not be acting like their normal selves already. So that might also be influencing this. So I can definitely see that they would be like, this is bad. Like, we cannot trust what just happened here. So he beams aboard, gets a security escort to the bridge, and he's now just kind of watching there, and some are seeing him, but mainly Claw's ignoring him. But it does mention that, yeah. Cord strode over to the command console. The young captain's chair was outfitted with a gunner's rig. Rather obvious display of Claw's vanity, Cord noted, a trait he resolved to use to his advantage. Claw settled into the rig, eager for the hunt. That is the key thing, but I do also just find it odd, a rather obvious display of Claw's vanity. We have no reason to believe he's actually a good captain, but he is a good gunner. It kind of makes sense he would have that. It does play to his strengths, so that's not really sure if that is vanity, but it still is. He settled into the rig, the gunner's rig, which he used earlier when he was first introduced, where, you know, he was aiming at the old NASA probe, aiming at, and does just twitch his fingers to fire, and just picks off pieces of it. But here we have Fire Fay Cord. Claw began. Captain, Cord barked. So hang on. Claw is in the viewer. He has the guns at his control. He has buttons already established, already used to fire phasers, but is going to issue the order to that dude over there. Maybe it's him wanting to make sure the honor is the ships for the destruction of the Enterprise? That's not true to his character? But maybe? And why the hell is he in the gunner's rig then? I mean, it just... This is the other technical issue, and it is a severe one. Because it is, as I said, it's against his character, and it is against the technology that was established when we introduced Claw. It should... I get... It's a thready thing. Okay, this is thread. This is pure demonstration of thread. Because the only reason for him to do that is so Cord can interrupt him. It serves no other purpose. That's such a problem. Because you have somebody acting contrary to their motivation, contrary to their established behavior to serve a moment in a story. It's like, no. The moments in the story are supposed to serve, to a degree, the characters, the motivations. It's supposed to follow that. But no, we're going to completely ignore what was established before and go over and do it this way because I want Cord to have the... No. Cord should have been able to step onto the bridge and just command them. He doesn't need to interrupt. It could even be because he walks over to the command... How did I actually put it? Was it the command console? Yes, the command console. Young's captain's chair was outfitted with a gunner's rig. So it's possible he is near that. I'm not actually sure if the command console is appreciably far removed from the center seat, but he could potentially have even just like grabbed the rig and like thrown it away or something like that. He could do something else to express dominance here that they would respect. And he's got one thing coming up. I just haven't gotten to it yet that actually... Cord's cool. But this is not it, because it does not align at all with Claw previously, or the technology that has been established. Anyway, and Claw is also like, just a moment. Once I destroy this ship, but General, I might be able to how does he put it? I may have the pleasure of addressing you as an equal. It's like, dude, no. You got captain because of a political purpose, I'm certain. You did not earn it. They just gave it to you because it would look good. Alright? It's good copy. It's good press. They are not making you a general unless it ensures that you aren't going to make more mistakes. Just because you destroyed the Enterprise and killed Kirk. That's not enough, dude. I mean, there's no way you're doing it that rapidly. It's like, first mission as captain, you ought to get... No. But here's what Cord says. By virtue of my superior rank, I am commandeering this vessel. Murder flashed in Claw's eyes. Furious, he gestured toward the guard who had escorted Cord from the transporter room. Before the captain could utter a word, Cord reached for him and lifted him off his feet by his throat. Claw's face darkened to a deep shade of purple. He made a strangled noise of pure rage. No one dared come to the captain's aid. It's like, okay, I like Cord here. Because it's very aggressive, but it is showing his dominance in a very effective means for Klingons. It's like, no, I'm in charge here, and you'd better believe it, kind of thing. I mean, and he does eventually release him. But it is basically showing, you are a whelp. Shut up, you will do as I say. And it's just like, I'm good with this. Now, it does mention here that he does consider that, where was it? Yeah, if he wished, he could take command of Okrona and destroy the Enterprise and James Kirk himself and redeem his name totally. But that's not what he's going to do. I have a plan, one that will bring much glory and honor. You may claim the victory, Claw, but for now, I have the power. While I'm okay with that, there is the issue, and there's also the whole Cord actually understand what's going on. Claw has no idea. But one thing that I do have a problem with here is in the movie, Spock is the one that's the gunner. I really hope that isn't what happens here because it doesn't make sense. Why would Cord be like, I have a plan. It'll be very honorable, right? One that will bring much glory and honor. We're going to have a Vulcan man the gunner here. It's like, how does that... What are you talking about, glory and honor? Vulcans don't care about that shit. We're Klingons. How does it bring us anything if you put the pointy-eared bastard here? What? So I hope it isn't Spock there. I mean, he can be beamed over to greet Kirk or something. But we're not doing that. And there's also Cord, I feel... I mean, yes, he needed to do... He is strangling. He is choking Claw. He needed to do that to express dominance because he is in control now. All right? No one's going to challenge him. At least not at the moment. So, he's good. But he can also express the whole... He knows what's going on. The rest of them don't know. He knows what was happening on the planet. He knows the state of the Enterprise. He knows all that. So, yeah. We get this. Yeah. Yes, that's my final highlight for the chapter. So Kirk is... Yes, this is after he's escaped out of the shuttlecraft, which the creature is destroying. He's escaped out and is running away. Now the creature had reverted to its true form. A pulsating field of energy that glowed a deep, dull bronze. It did not seem as powerful now. It did not seem as powerful, now that it was separated from the energy shaft that had contained it. But it's still quite deadly. So the suggestion there then is, because it's out of containment, it's less focused, I'm pretty sure what we're to take from that, so that's why it would seem less powerful. That would explain why it is less powerful. It might seem less powerful, though, just because it's got less going on, showing it off. Oh, I mean, it's a bad example, but, it's like if dudes walking around with an entourage looks more impressive than dude walking around alone. Something kind of like that. But we do, and I did also write in there that this could also be how the Klingons, the bird of prey, could destroy it, because if it is its true form, then in theory it's a form that when damaged is harmed the most. That is not the case, because it does describe that when the bird of prey does open fire and hits it with a barrage, it just gets knocked back. So it's harmed, but it's not killed. Whatever. But yeah, so now the chapter just ends with it hovering over Kirk, and Kirk just being like, all right, come on, let's do this. Because he's figuring, Enterprise must be destroyed, because there is no way that my crew would allow a bird of prey to get this close to me, to even just get past it like this. Shit. Well, they're dead. My turn. Come on, let's do this. But instead he gets beamed up. And just to... Okay. He got beamed up. I'm not seeing something there. He's just in the transport. I was quickly trying to skim that first page to see if there's anything indicating that Spock is there, but no, he's still being brought from the transporter room to the bridge of the bird of prey. So yeah, but yeah. So some of the aspects of this chapter I did like, but it's still it's too much thready shit in it. Yeah, I'm probably going to give this a -2. We'll put it in the -2 category and say it's not worth your time. You can read it if you want. I wouldn't suggest it, though. Just, it has too many weaknesses like that. Too many clear errors. And there's also aspects to it, like so much of the stuff, the plasma balls, so much of that stuff where it's like, it's just dumb. It could potentially harm somebody's enjoyment of Star Trek, somebody's view of Star Trek, that it's just so stupid. That's like, don't bother with it. Yeah, I mean, even Voyage Home, I gave that a 1 because like there was still stuff there that was enjoyable, but it had a lot of problems. This is just, I don't even think I can say that it's enjoyable, and it's got these issues that can cause harm. Voyage Home was just like things that were badly done. This is no. This is badly done and stupidly done. Where, yeah, it's probably gonna end up being that. But hey, it's got 3 more things. Chapter 18 epilogue and the Mountains of Gaul to change my mind. Might get me up to -1. We'll see. And it's also, I gotta go through my notes. It'll definitely be one of those two. Either, yeah, I can't recommend reading it, but it might not be a waste of your time, or I'd recommend you not read it because it will be a waste of your time. So yeah, we'll see. Oh man, I'm just remembering this is the same author as Star Trek 6. I'm so afraid. See you next time.